Custom passkey.
We are here in the town of Slane, here in Ireland. It's about 45 minutes outside of Dublin, the capital. Today we got my good man here, dressed to impress, dressed to the nines with the rings, the cane, looking sharp, man. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what we're about to do?
Ricky, welcome to Slane, welcome to Ireland. My name is Bartle, I'm a private tour guide.
Yes, sir.
And my stick is a weather stick, and it controls the weather, and that's why I brought it today, you can see. And that's what we're going to be telling you about, because we're going to do the equinox alignment here, starting off at the Hill of Slane, an ancient site named after the great Firbolg warrior Slánne, and he's buried in the mound behind the ruins on the hill. So we're going to talk about him, and then we're going to go further into the countryside, into the middle, the heart of Ireland, and we're going to show you Lough Crew, which is the oldest stone building in Europe. 5,500 years old, older than the pyramid. And that's on our equinox alignment further into the centre of Ireland.
I love your accent.
Good. It's authentic. This is a monkey puzzle tree. That's what the Victorians called it. It's a Chilean pine. Now, so we're going to look, there's a church on the left-hand side and the ruins of an old monastery, Francisca Monastery on the right, because this is the most sacred site for Christianity in Ireland. We're on the Hill of Slane here, and this is where Patrick brought Christianity into Ireland in 432 AD, so it's one of the most sacred Christian sites in Ireland. And just behind me, on the right-hand side, we have the remains of St. Erc's Church. Erc was a bishop for Patrick, and he was a druid. Like a lot of the early Celtic saints and bishops were druids. They understood nature. On the left-hand side, we have the remains of a Franciscan friary, and that goes back to the early 16th century. When we get up the hill, we get a better view all the way around, and we'll be able to show you where the grave of Slánne the warrior is too. Now we'll go in here to the churchyard first. Meet St. Patrick. This is his hill. So Patrick, as I said, came here 432 AD. As I said, brought Christianity here, and he lit the Paschal fire up on this hill where you can see for miles all the way around you. Now, Léirí, the High King of Ireland, is sitting over there in the royal palace on the hill of Tara, and because both hills are reasonably close to each other in a largely flat landscape, when you lit one fire, everybody else in Ireland was waiting to see that one fire, and then they lit their fires. Patrick lit his first, and Léirí wasn't too happy because Patrick had literally stolen his thunder. So Patrick was brought by Léirí's soldiers over to Tara, and as we progress, we'll tell you what happened to Patrick when he went to Tara. But up here, for you guys, this is Instagram. This is a beacon hill. So you can see the tremendous view that's out there, right onto the horizon. If an invading fleet landed out there or seen on the horizon, you light your distress beacon here, your flame, and all the other hills behind you into Ireland see it. So within 10 minutes, the whole of Ireland knew there was an invading fleet out there.
I think that's amazing. This view is absolutely amazing. This is the Ireland I wanted to see, like the countryside, the breathtaking views. This is it. This is awesome.
Right, come in this way. Okay, so we're inside one of the ruined churches here up in the top of the Hill of Slane. And we're going to point out a few little things for you first. So due east is down there, straight on the coast, and then the windows here are all ruined away, and they would have the Holy Trinity windows because all churches face the east and they get their light rising in the morning time. So we have a big bell tower that survives down the back here, and you can also see that it's a fortified bell tower because it has an arrow slit in the middle of it, and that's where you would have monks that would also defend their place here, because we would have Viking raids that would come in here off the coast. So these would have been easy prey for them because it's so close to the coast. So you can also see there are graves within the nave of the church where we are now, and there's also what we call spoila. So there's lots of little pieces of stone architecture actually from the older stuff that was here and is put around. Now there you have a little piscine, and piscine is the French for fish pond, and that means that when you did your sacred duties at the altar, the holy water is put into that and nobody touches it. It flows out into the graveyard, making the graveyard sacred ground. So we're on our way to see Eark's grave. This is Eark's grave. Eark was Patrick's bishop or druid here, and he was the one. Patrick wanted to go into Ireland to convert Ireland to Christianity, and Patrick was in Ireland before. He was a slave up in Antrim minding sheep and pigs on the mountains, and he knows the old ways of Ireland, the ways of the sun, and that's why he comes in here at the equinox, and he moves across Ireland all the way to the west coast to take on Crom. Crom is the ancient god of Ireland. He lives on a mountain. All gods live on mountains. And Crom is sitting on his mountain, and Patrick comes and converts everybody to Christianity. And now that mountain is known as Croagh Patrick. And Eark's grave here, like all the graves in this graveyard, faces due east. Due east for the rising sun. On the last day, they come up and the morning sun greets them. Now, the clergy are buried over to the left. They're buried facing west. They get an extra day's rest, because when their flock rise up, they come up in the evening time and the flock are already facing the clergy as it should be. And then this is Eark's grave, and then we're going to have a look at the grave of Slánne, which is outside the consecrated walls.
What's the story behind this tree?
This tree is a Chilean pine, and it was brought back from the Americas, and it has a more common name. You can notice the way, see the way, Ricky, all the branches are falling off the tree as the tree grows up. And there were two Victorian gentlemen looking at a tree like that in a garden in England, and they may have had a glass of wine, and one said to the other one, "It would puzzle a monkey how to climb that tree." And that's where it gets his nickname, the monkey puzzle. It's his common name. Guys, this is Slánne's burial mound. Slánne, the great Firbolg warrior of Ireland, is remembered here, and that's where the town of Slane gets its name from in reference to him. And his name lives on in Ireland to this day, something we use every day in Ireland. In Ireland we have a drinking toast, and it's called Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Yes, and Sláinte is in memory of Slánne, because Slánne had a magic well up here on the hill, and when his warriors died in battle, he took his dead warrior, threw him into the well, and they sprung back to life. And that's when Dan Kecht, the Tuatha physician, followed Slánne, seen what was happening, and he blocked up the well. So when we drink in Ireland and we raise a toast to the Firbolg warrior and we go Sláinte, we don't just mean good health. We take one sip and we go, back to life, back to life.
So we don't need any. So I know you said we'll have a drink at the pub, but I plan on having many drinks at this Irish pub.
We're going to more than one pub.
Oh, okay, good. Because I'll be saying Sláinte many, many times today. Many times. You know, my real name is Patrick, my first name. Yeah, it is, yeah. But Ricky's my nickname. That's what my family calls me.
All right. So this is your hill.
It is.
I'm introducing Ricky the Patrick for when he's called Patrick. He's called Patrick. He tells me now.
Yeah, no. He's the one who's like, oh, Ricky, okay.
Ricky, welcome to your hill.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, every time I come to Ireland, I feel back at home. Like
there you
I'm supposed to be here. The Patrick
you're not very ginger, though.
No, I'm not. Not even close.
Okay, guys, we're in the town of Kells, and we're in St. Columkille's monastic site. So I know that everybody that comes to Dublin, they all queue up in Trinity College to see the Book of Kells. you guys are now standing in the monastery that held the Book of Kells. And on the theme of St. Patrick, as we move around, we can see this is a high cross, and what the monks used to do is that they would teach the scripture from the high cross. So these high crosses date back to the 9th century, but today they're all weathered with the rain and they're reduced in size, but they would have been coloured in like cartoons, and then people, the novice monks, would learn their scripture from pointing out the pictures on the high cross. So they also represent turmans, north, south, east and west in the monastery. So today it's quite worn with the weather, it's made of limestone, but it would have been highly decorated and coloured, and then they would teach the Bible scenes from the high cross to the novices. And behind us here we have one of the famous round towers of Ireland, and it was thought for a long while that the monks would have hidden from the Vikings in the doorway because it's above the ground. But originally, when they put the door on the ground, the wind came and blew the tower over. Now on the top, there's got 5 windows in this one, but normally you have 4 windows, and it's known as Cligchock in the Gaelic language, and it normally has 4 windows on the top, north, south, east and west, to give out the sound of the bell all around. This one has 5 because Kells has 5 roads coming into it. Ricky, what time is it?
I don't have a watch.
Ricky, this is what we have. This is a sundial, and this is how the monks told the time wherever the sun comes, and they would have a stick in the middle, and you can see as the hand going round how clever that was. So the Irish word for bell is clig.
Clig.
The English word for clock is clock, and that's where clock gets its name from, clig. You hear time first, and then you see time.
Ah, interesting.
Now, so this is another high cross here in Kells, and you can see the top of it is damaged because when Cromwell and his troops came into Ireland, they broke up all the idols associated with the Catholic Church in Ireland, and they damaged the top of this cross. And then also in 1798, there's a market cross down in the town, and that's where they hung the Irish rebels on to punish them for rising against English rule. Here we have a crucifixion scene. We have the Spealer Longinus with the Roman centurion pierces Christ's side to check if he's dead, and here you have the hyssop stick, and the hyssop stick had a vinegar sponge on it, and it's to revive Christ when he was on the cross. But apart from being broken, the cross is unfinished because there was a Viking raid on Kells, and we think they either killed the stonemason or took him away as a slave, so it's just frozen in time since then.